Talking media, threat to academia. Slacking, you defeated, brother. Track, I hack and eat it up. I'm heating up. Hot as my mama's stove on a Sunday. Except I'm...
Welcome to 3-Count Commentaries. So I really juggled whether I should do this or not, but I said to myself, you know what? I got to. I do Triple Mania. I do the occasional GCW show. So I got to do Wrestle Kingdom. Wrestle Kingdom is probably I guess it's the second most important wrestling show in the business, maybe. AEW doesn't have anything that's on that level yet. So after WrestleMania, and maybe whatever big show WWE would have, Wrestle Kingdom would be the biggest wrestling event of the year. And so I got to talk about it. So I did not watch a lot of New Japan over the last several months, mainly because the copyright struck my channel. And I've kind of been like, New Japan can shove it. But I did peek here and there occasionally to see what was going on and to catch up with some of the storylines and some of the guys that I actually did enjoy watching. That being said, the cards for Wrestle Kingdom, all 3 nights, are absolutely miserable. I looked at the cards for these shows and said to myself, this is a disaster. Unmitigated disaster. The first 2 nights, I guess I'm going to have to do reviews of those 2 nights, but I'm not touching that 3rd night. The 3rd night is into the 8th anyway. It's a Wrestle Kingdom Night 3, and it's Wrestle Kingdom it's a New Japan versus Noah. And I said, I don't know enough guys on the Noah roster to give it a fair review, so I'm not even going to touch it. So, I don't know enough of those guys to even delve into that. So I'm not going to sit here and fake like I'm some super Japan fan. I don't know a lot of those people. I did have watched some of them. I've seen probably 2 or 3 of those guys, but most of them, I have no knowledge of them, so I'm not even going to bother. So, but New Japan, WWE, let's talk about this for a second. WWE fired 170 wrestlers in 2021. They were not as affected as New Japan when they lost 4. New Japan lost Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and Chris Jericho, and all of a sudden, everything went out of whack for 2 years. It just, Ghetto lost his fucking mind 2 years after Kenny Omega left. It's just like, I don't know what to do anymore. He just threw his hands in the air, and every time I watch New Japan, it's just pieces flying in the air, and whatever, they fall where they lay. And sometimes that kind of booking works, but it ain't working here. I can tell you that much. I looked at this card and I said, man, Ghetto needs to be fired. And then they gave him 3 nights to screw it up. He managed to really screw it up badly. Before we get into new Wrestle Kingdom, I spent 3 minutes dogging the show. I got to talk about they are back on Access TV. They will be back. New Japan will be back on Access TV on March I think it's the 8th, or is it 22nd or something like that? It'll be back in March. They will not be running new episodes. It will be a collection of older matches. So I think the first show will feature Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho. But it's going to be on Access, so if you've never seen it, you can watch it, or if you just want to watch it again on American television, you can. New Japan is, I guess it's TV Ahashi that is really being the dickheads about letting New Japan actually break into the American market. And I have been asked before, like, what does New Japan need to do to get into the American market? And part of it is the TV deal, allowing people to do reviews. Yes, you don't want people pirating the whole match. You can be on the lookout for that. At the same time, allow people to do audio reviews or show clips of a match shouldn't damage your brand too much. And that part of it is also a big problem, because New Japan has just basically insulated themselves. I'm pretty sure it's TV Ahashi that did this, and it's almost impenetrable to American audiences now. And then also they could do better when it comes to booking and character stuff too. You could actually, the whole thing is they're the king of sports, so that's what they do. They do sports, which is not a problem. They're just not doing it very well right now. All right, so almost 5 minutes in, you got to talk about Wrestle Kingdom. Let's talk about the Rambo first. It's essentially a Rumble. Last 4 guys will go into a match on night 2 for the King of Pro Wrestling 2022 Championship. And that thing is like the 24/7 title. Last I checked, it's basically a goof belt that Toru Yano has all the time. This match was, it was good for the old guys. Like, the old guys got to come down the ramp, and the crowd was not allowed to respond too loudly. It's not like Japanese crowds get rowdy anyway, but they were definitely. I mean, to have so many people there and then tell them they can't really respond was very weird. But some of the entrants that I recognized was Minoru Suzuki, Hiroshi Tenzan, Kojima, Taka Michinoku, Shima. Remember when Shima was signed to AEW and they was treating like it was a huge deal? Shima and the and the Strong Hearts. Oh, these guys are going to be a big tag team in AEW. Yeah, how did that work out? Yuji Nagata was there, and Tatsumi Fujinami. Tatsumi Fujinami has got to be in his 70s. If you don't know who Tatsuya Fujinami is, he was one of the first disciples, I guess you could say, of Antonio Inoki, and he's really good. He's in the WWE Hall of Fame. He, was pretty famous in the United States. He did some pretty good stuff. He had some pretty good matches with Ric Flair, and when he was in NWA and stuff like that. Really good guy. I think he actually wrestled at Starrcade before. I don't remember. Was he the NWA World Champion? I don't remember. He might have been Big Gold Belt Champion in WCW or something. I'm not sure. Not off the top of my head. I have to do the research. This match was terrible, of course. It was full of old guys and young guys nobody cared about. So it was Toru Yano, Chase Owens, Shima, and Minoru Suzuki were the last 4. I couldn't care less about this. Master Wato is in this. But the moment I saw Chase Owens, I actually lost interest. I mean, Chase Owens, come on. Give me a fucking break. Right? Anybody who's willing to give that guy a paycheck consistently is a lunatic. I can't believe you would give money to Chase Owens to wrestle. Fuck you. All right, first match on the show. The match I wanted to see. The match I was most interested in, to be quite honest. Yo versus Show. So these two are former tag team partners. They broke up. I don't know. When did they break up? I don't know. At some point last year. Show was the one with all the talent. He was the one with all the intensity. He was the one with all the charisma. And naturally, they made him the heel. All right, it made sense. They took Show. They made him a part of Evil's House of Torture, which is a sub-genre of the Bullet Club. I don't know why the Bullet Club has so many sub-cults and subgroups. They do, and it's fucking annoying. And, it's almost like they don't trust anybody else to go and get over on their own. It's like we just gotta attach everything to Bullet Club. It's like really weird. Like, imagine if the NWO just never ended and they just kept like, even Hogan's gone, Hall and Nash are gone, everybody's gone, but we're just gonna keep tacking people onto this group and then just calling them something else, but they're really just a subgroup of the NWO. It's like, nah, that's stupid. This is stupido. It's stupido. This isn't their first match, Yo versus Show. I think they wrestled before and Yo won. And I was surprised by that because I was like, why would the one who's less talented go over? And then they went and did it again. They had Yo beat Show again. And I was like, in any event, they nicknamed Show Murder Machine. Murder Machine. And I'm looking at this guy, I'm like, Show is like, what, 25? 26? He looks like somebody you put on the cover of a magazine. A good looking guy. Where do you get Murder Machine from Show? Like if he looks like Brian Cage or something like that, I could buy a Murder Machine. But he's Show. He's a junior heavyweight. He could probably bulk up a little bit and be a heavyweight. He's not Murder Machine. He's not a Murder Machine. Anyway, he lost because he kept trying to hit Yo with a wrench. And Yo just rolled him up and pinned him. Then after the match, Show tried to hit him with a wrench again, and Yo again knocked him out. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, what is... Show could have been easy. He should have been a slam dunk, if you're thinking about it, As far as young guys on their roster, Show should have been an easy one to get over, and people were naturally behind him. I think I'm cool with them turning him heel. That's fine. But him just constantly losing to Yo, instead of having Yo be the Janetti that he is and get beat down and stomped on and get some babyface sympathy and stuff like that, which would have made more sense. But I don't know. Maybe I don't follow this shit enough to know, and maybe that's what they did do. And but I didn't see that. Anyway, second match made me want to throw myself down some stairs. Hiroshi Tanahashi, Rocky Romero, and Ryusuke Taguchi versus Kenta, El Phantasmo, and Taiji Ishimori. This match ended in disqualification with Tanahashi hit Kenta with a kendo stick. Now, the only thing cool about this entire match was El Phantasmo's light up jacket during his entrance. That jacket ruled. That jacket was very good. At one point, Kenta poked Taguchi in the butt with his fingers. I was like, I didn't need to see that. I know Japanese humor is a weird thing, but come on. Go to hell, dude. While the ref was down, Kenta went to work on Tanahashi with the kendo stick. Tanahashi just did the reverse with the referee watching. So they got thrown out. This match wasn't very long, thank God. Taguchi and Rocky Romero, I cannot stand watching either one of them. And I really don't care for El Phantasmo either. And Kenta, I really don't like him either, if we think about it. The only ones I really liked, I like the Ace, of course, Tanahashi. And I like Taiji Ishimori. I would have liked for it to be Tanahashi versus Ishimori. I don't care about the rest of these guys at all. Apparently, Tanahashi versus Kenta will be the January 5th match for the U.S. title, and it'll be no disqualification. So that's why they kind of went into a DQ finish here. Fine, but come on. Come on, we could do better with Tanahashi. You know, I'm okay with him wrestling Kenta, even though Kenta has the charisma of an old boot. I'm okay with these two guys feuding. Kenta's a good wrestler. That's really all he is a good wrestler. He has no personality whatsoever. The third match, the United Empire, which consisted of the Great Khan, Jeff Cobb, and Will Ospreay versus Los Ingobernables, which is Bushi, Sanada, and Tetsuya Naito. So Ospreay demanded to be called world champion because he never lost the belt. Naito and Bushi had really great entrance gear. Bushi has his Aztec headdress that he was wearing a suit, and with the mask and everything, it was fire. It was an absolute. His entrance gear was better than the match. His entrance gear was dope. Bushi looked like a complete and total badass. Naito's entrance gear was pretty dope too, with the jacket and the mask and everything. It made him like a little bit like a zombie. It was great. Naito, once again, does not care about matches. She just don't. Will Ospreay ended up getting the pin, and Will Ospreay wins this match because he's wrestling for the title on January the 5th. Then Ospreay stood in the ring while Great Khan addressed the crowd. I don't remember what they were saying. Don't care. Ospreay had 500 useless belts. It was just like it was like the Warrior Wrestling belt, the Rev Pro belt, some old belt that he won, a bunch of other belts. I'm just like, what the fuck? You know, like, you can't impress me with all these belts if I don't know what any of them mean. They don't represent any companies that I would ever know, you know. If he wants to walk around with the New Japan belt, that's fine. You know, I'm okay with him walking around with the New Japan belt. He never actually lost it. I think he was stripped due to injury. Okay, cool. He wants to walk around with that belt. That's fine. You know, but I don't care that he's Warrior Wrestling champion. Who does? Who does care that he's Warrior Wrestling champion? Other side of the people who watch Warrior Wrestling. Ospreay is terrible too. Especially as a heel. He's just really not good. Katsuyori Shibata made his in-ring return against Ren Narita. This match was supposed to be no strikes allowed, but in the early part of the match, Shibata threw all the rules out and said that he just wants to have a wrestling match. So all things were go, and they went in there and did very good. Shibata still being alive after almost dying, you know, breaking his neck, and he fought really hard to get back in the ring. You know, this is a great story for his comeback. He wrestled a match last year. It's basically just a grappling contest with Zack Sabre Jr. And he had done some interviews basically saying that he hates that, wrestling has gone so far from the basics and he wanted to bring the basics back. Which is good, grappling is part of what the business is. And then he immediately threw that out the window and said, okay, we're going to chop and kick each other now. Fuck all that grappling. Ren Narita, it's pretty good. I think that this is a good nod for the kid, to get the honor of wrestling Shibata, who is a top guy in Japan, whether he's not known that well in the United States or not. He's been sitting on the bench for a long time. But people actually like the guy, and it's an inspirational story. And Ren Narita gets an opportunity that nobody else would have gotten, and that's good. Sure, we could have gone with somebody who's a bigger star in a higher profile match, but I think that they're trying to ease Shibata back into working regular matches. So this was a good start. It was great for Ren Narita's career. It's awesome. We had intermission where I almost certainly skipped through that. And then we got the Never Openweight Championship. The Human Stump, Tomohiro Ishii versus Evil. So, referee goes down. Sho interferes. And Yo comes out there and knocks Sho out again. Like, he gets knocked out again. There's plenty of House of Torture interference in this match. Evil defeats Tomohiro Ishii with Everything is Evil. Match was, I don't like Tomohiro Ishii. I'm sorry. He's boring. Evil is cool, though. He's not the best worker in the world, but he has a great character and a great look. So now he is the Never Openweight Champion, which is like being champion of an anthill. And we found out that Evil and House of Torture are also the Never Six-Man Tag Team Champions. So now they control the entire division. This entire small, crappy division in New Japan is completely controlled by House of Torture. And I'm like, yay, you guys, I love that for you guys. I wish Sho could do more than this. I know he's just getting started, but come on. The Never division. Everything about that sucks. Okay? Everything about that Never division is terrible. And I'll never stop talking about how bad it is. And people can say whatever they want. But that Never division is awful. It's absolutely awful. Nobody who matters actually works in that Never division. It sucks. It sucks really, really bad. The IWGP Tag Team Championship, Dangerous Tekkers, Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. were defeated by Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi. So Yoshihashi, they have been doing this storyline with Yoshihashi as having a banner year. He won his first title, which I think was a Never Openweight belt, 6-man belt last year. He lost the titles, and now they're saying he's teaming up with his best friend in the world, Hiroki Goto, and they won the World Tag League, which I was like, ugh. Yoshihashi is a joke. He's an absolute joke. And anyway, they defeated Taichi, who is actually very cool. Taichi has like the best character in the world, man, and he's been running this same gimmick forever. And he has a hot valet in Miho Abe. Everything about Taichi is very cool, except the fact that he teams up with Zack Sabre Jr. I mean, everything about Zack Sabre Jr. is just straight up room temperature. It's not hot. It's not cold. It's just room temperature. It's just he exists and he's a thing. And people like that, grappling stuff. And it's like, yeah, but can he do something to keep me awake? I mean, shit, he sucks. Goto and Hashi are now the tag team champions. They got zero reaction whatsoever from the crowd. I know that the crowd not supposed to make that much noise. They didn't even clap. All right. Now, there was not even golf claps after this match. I was just so disgusted that they would have Taichi lose to Yoshihashi. I can't believe it. And then Taichi showed them respect. He shook hands and slapped the backs of these guys and showed them the utmost respect. And I was like, that is not like Taichi. Taichi doesn't respect anybody. He's like one of the few true heels in New Japan. I'm talking about like legit, nobody likes him. Like him and Evil. That's why I like Evil. Evil is like legit. Everybody thinks he sucks. He gets massive amounts of heat, and yet he always wins. So it's like, it's very cool that Evil wins a lot. He doesn't win every match. He wins enough to get heat. But then, everybody complains about how bad he sucks and everything. But it's like, Evil is great. He didn't have to do that much, and he gets heat. And he has great facial expressions. Like that, like the smile when he beat Tomohiro Ishii. Because he knew that the people on the internet was going to be very, very mad. And they were. They were very mad. All right. Now the good matches actually started. Hiromu Takahashi was defeated by El Desperado for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. Desperado was the champion, so I should say he defended it. Takahashi had tentacles on his entrance gear, and it was multicolored. So it was like the NXT 2.0 logo with tentacles and shit. He's like Ursula from Little Mermaid. It was awful. It was hilarious though, because it's completely 100% Takahashi, and it was fun. This match was also very fun. El Desperado wins with Pinche Loco. He does it twice. It's basically like a pedigree, kind of. But it's actually more like, I guess you could say, Tommaso Ciampa's fairy tale ending. I think it's more like that. And it's a great finish. He did them back to back. He did two of them back to back in order to pin Takahashi. Really fun match. I'm fully behind the El Desperado push. One of the times I dipped out of New Japan as I was watching it when El Desperado lost to Robbie Eagles. Because I was like, Robbie Eagles sucks. He's super boring. And I was like, you know what? If that's what y'all guys going to do, I'm out of here. And so I did not watch anything after Robbie Eagles won the IWGP Junior belt. I kept peeking in on like the results and stuff, but I was not sitting down watching it. Robbie Eagles sucks. In the main event, Kazuchika Okada defeated Shingo Takagi with the Rainmaker to win the IWGP World title. This match was very good too. Okada with the crossbody over the barricade. He cleared that barricade. Great athleticism. Got a really great reaction too. Despite the fact that people kept saying, "Oh, they're not supposed to be reacting." Shit. When Okada's out there and Shingo's out there, when the great guys are doing great guy stuff, the crowd reacts. So they did good stuff here. Shingo lost, which I'm going to be honest, sucks. I would rather Shingo be the champion than Okada. It's been 10 years of Okada. 10 years. I mean, he started winning the belt in like 2011 or something like that. It's enough. We should have had new guys by now. And I get it, they had this incredible run with Kenny Omega. They don't want to de-push Okada because he's so young. But to me, he is like that Randy Orton where he's so solidified, he doesn't need to be in that space anymore. So I think we should have, maybe this should be Naito. I know Ibushi's hurt. I know they kind of wanted to move him in this spot, but Ibushi's out. And maybe they feel like they have to put the belt back on Okada in order to, get people back into it. Maybe that's the case because Okada, he's not quite the crossover success that people think he is. And at least I don't believe he is, especially in comparison to Tanahashi. He doesn't have the charisma of Tanahashi, but I think his English is better. So, in any event, Okada's a good wrestler, great wrestler actually. And he does Shingo is also a great wrestler, big fan of Shingo. Hate that he lost. I hate how their belt looks. The new IWGP World Heavyweight title looks like shit. It looks like a mask. It looks terrible. But Okada's the champion. Great match. Last two matches on this show were really good. The rest of this show was complete basura. Will Ospreay came out there to make a big deal about this because he's challenging for the title on January 5th. He comes out there, he gets in Okada's face, talks some yin-yang. Okada called him a fake champion, told him he'll see him tomorrow night. So, this is good. Do I see them putting the belt back on Will Ospreay? No, I don't see it. Maybe, maybe, I don't know. I think that they do themselves a disservice to keep dealing with Will Ospreay. I get it. You want to have a top gaijin But Kenny Omega was, special in his own way. Jay White was one of your boys. He was special. He's really good. Why Jay White is not being featured? I guess because he's in the United States. God is not there. There's a lot of guys who are not there, and maybe that's why we have so many bullshit Yoshihashi wins and all that stuff. Because there are certain people who are not there. But I don't know about this Will Ospreay thing. I don't know if he's the top gaijin. I think we need to look elsewhere for top gaijin. We need to kind of look elsewhere. Gaijin meaning a foreigner. We need to look somewhere else. Somebody else. It's got to be somebody else. Will Ospreay just isn't the guy. Hopefully there's got to be some guys WWE fired that you want to bring in. Please go find those guys and bring them to Japan. Not to New Japan Strong, in Florida, but bring them to Japan. A guy like Jonathan Gresham could really do really good work in Japan. If they wish they could have gotten Jay Lethal before he ended up going to AEW, but there were some other people that they could have gotten that could have added some new energy, especially if they were looking for gaijins in New Japan. The destruction of ROH really could have helped in this respect, but unfortunately, they kind of let them get away. All right, so I don't know who's going to be wrestling on the 5th, but I do know some of the matches. And I believe one of these matches is going to be Jeff Cobb versus Tetsuya Naito. This match sounds fun. Jeff Cobb he's good, but he's kind of a mass, or he just doesn't have that much in the terms of charisma or personality. He reminds me a lot of Rhino, which is not good. And Great-O-Khan versus Sonata is another one. Sure, Great-O-Khan versus Sonata. I like Sonata. I'm not really high on Great-O-Khan. I've seen quite a bit of him. Not really all that impressed. He reminds me somewhat of, what's that older wrestler that wrestled Andre the Giant a lot? It's Killer Khan. Maybe that's what he's trying to be. So, I don't know. He reminds me a lot of that guy. Tanahashi versus Kenta. That ought to be fun, especially if there's no disqualification. But the card for these next nights is not good. But I felt like I had to talk about it, because I thought at least it would be fun if I watched the show. And I was wrong. I was bombarded with Yo and Yoshihashi and Tomohiro Ishii and Zack Sabre Jr. And I was like, man, can we spread this shit out, or at least make it one night? I know WWE kind of cock blocked them with the whole, you guys want to run a 2-night Wrestle Kingdom? We're going to run a 2-night WrestleMania. And they're like, oh, you want to go 2 nights? We're going to go 3. And WWE's like, well, go ahead, dog. Go ahead with your 3. We're not doing 3. But it probably wasn't a smart idea to have a 3-night event. It's not a smart idea to really have a 2-night event, if we're being honest. Unless you have the roster, it's not smart to have a 2-night event. A lot of, like I said earlier, a lot of New Japan guys are not even there. Some guys that are very over and are very good, they aren't even over there. So you're really just trying to do the most with a shorter roster, and it's probably not smart. But there it is. Let me know what you guys thought of New Japan Wrestle Kingdom Night 1. Thanks for listening. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, donate to the channel. I'll talk to you guys later.